Keeping up with our motto, let learning be a joy and teaching a pleasure. Here we are with a remote teaching and learning process to bridge the gap. Happy learning, students.
A very warm welcome to the students of Thakur Vidya Mandir High School and Junior College. Standard 4th, subject English text, topic lesson number 17, No Formalities Please, part 2. Now, let's read the lesson No Formalities Please, part 2. Mrs. Desai met the principal soon after class. She told her about the excitement that followed the announcement of new books in the library. They just cannot wait to read all those lovely books. She beamed. Beamed means she smiled with pleasure. The principal was also delighted and praised her. The credit goes to you, Mrs. Desai. You have created and aroused their interest in reading books. Aroused means made somebody have a particular feeling or attitude. It is going to help them a great deal in future. Here in this paragraph, as soon as the class gets over, Mrs. Desai meets the principal. She tells the principal about the excitement in the class when she announced the arrival of new books in the library. She also tells the principal that the children cannot wait. They are quite eager to read the books. The principal too was happy and she praised Mrs. Desai, saying, "The credit goes to you, Mrs. Desai, as you have created and increased their interest in reading books, and this will surely help them in their future." Now, let's read the next paragraph. "Yes, madam," said Mrs. Desai, "but they find the weekly library period too short a time to read. So, my students are going to appeal to you to allow home issue of books." Appeal means to make a serious or formal request. "They have written to you a letter of request." "A letter? Why?" asked the principal in surprise. "I had to teach the class how to write polite formal letters, and I took this opportunity to make them actually write a formal letter," explained Mrs. Desai. In this paragraph, Mrs. Desai informs the principal that the children find the weekly library period too short, as they get very less time to read. She tells the principal that the students are requesting to permit them to take the books home, and they have written a letter of request too. On hearing this, the principal was surprised and asked, "A letter? Why?" When Mrs. Desai saw that the principal was surprised hearing about the letter, Mrs. Desai explained the principal as she had to teach the class how to write a polite formal letter. She took this opportunity. Opportunity means chance, and she made them write a formal letter. Next paragraph. "Excellent, Mrs. Desai," exclaimed the principal, "and I shall not dampen their interest in reading. I shall certainly allow them to take books home for reading." In this paragraph, the principal was very happy. She praised Mrs. Desai and said, "Excellent," and she told she will not dampen. Dampen means reduce their interest in reading. She will certainly allow the students to take the books home for reading. Let's read the next paragraph. The next morning, the principal found the letter on her desk. She signed the letter with the remark, "Permission granted," and sent it to the librarian. To encourage the children of class 4, further, the principal instructed the librarian to give a written reply to the students, and here's what he wrote. Next morning, when the principal entered her cabin, she found a letter on her desk, and she understood it is the same letter Mrs. Desai was talking about, a letter of request written by the students of class 4. asking permission to take the library books home. The principal signed the letter with a remark, "Permission granted," and the letter was sent to the librarian. And to encourage the students of class 4, the principal instructed the librarian to give a written reply to the students. Now here is the letter written by the librarian. Let's read the letter. Children, before, while writing a letter, the sender's name and address as shown here in this letter was written to the right hand corner. But children, please make a note that nowadays we write the sender's address and name to the left hand corner above the receiver's name and address. Now here the sender is the librarian. So he has written the address as Library, Pragati Vidyalay, Vachanpur, 7th July 2014. And later the receiver's address is written. Now here, who is receiving the letter? The students of class 4. Next, the salutation part. Dear children, now let's read the body part of the letter. I'm delighted to know that you are so keen on reading the new books in our school library. Keen means very much interested. The principal has been kind enough to grant to your class permission for home issue facility. I shall keep the library open for an hour after school on all weekdays. You can come and collect any one book of your choice and return it the following week. But I must urge you to read and observe the library rules displayed in the library. Urge means to advise. Do come and enjoy reading the books. As the librarian has written the letter, it is signed by the librarian saying, "Sincerely yours, Mr. Vijay Patil, the librarian." "Hey, great news!" cried the monitor. "Look, we have received a letter from librarian, and guess what? We can take storybooks home to read." "Wow!" exclaimed Shruti with bright round eyes. "Goodbye, boredom. Welcome, happy hours," shouted Akshay. Now, as the class receives the letter, the class monitor expresses his joy and tells all the students that there's a great news. He asks them to guess the news. Later, he tells them that they have received a letter from the librarian saying that they can take the storybooks home to read. All the children were happy, and a girl named Shruti expressed her joy by saying, "Wow!" Akshay too expresses his joy, shouting, "Goodbye, boredom. Welcome, happy days." Boredom means when it's boring, you have nothing interesting to do. The letter from the librarian was put up on the class notice board for all to read. Now, the letter was put up on the class notice board so that all the students can read it. When Mrs. Desai walked into the classroom, the students of class 4 burst out into many exclamations of thanks. Now, when Mrs. Desai entered the class, all the children were very happy and they all started expressing their thanks towards their teacher. "Shall we write a letter of thanks to the librarian?" suggested Manuja. Now, while they were expressing their thanks, a girl named Manuja asked the teacher, "Shall we write a letter of thanks to the librarian?" "That's an excellent idea," said Mrs. Desai, smiling to herself at this new interest in formal letter writing. Now, Mrs. Desai was very happy when she saw the children are taking interest in reading the books, and now they have also shown interest in writing a formal letter. She smiled to herself and said, "That's an excellent idea." Now, this is the letter of thanks the children wrote to the librarian. We can see they have written the sender's address, the receiver's address as per the instructions given by their teacher, and the subject expression of thanks to is written in short as their teacher taught them. The salutation, Dear Sir, to is correct as they are addressing the librarian. Now let's read the body part of the letter. Thank you ever so much for kindly making the home reading facility available to us. We are really grateful that you are going to wait back 1 hour after school just for us. We can now read books of our choice at a stretch. At a stretch means continuously. Thank you very much for your encouragement. We promise to abide by the library rules and handle the books with great care. Abide means to obey. Many thanks once again. Thanksgiving to is written properly, and at last the signature part to is correct as it is written by the students of class 4 thanking the librarian. Yours faithfully, students of class 4. We will be meeting soon in the next video, so keep learning something new every day. Thank you.